The first new way to care for the elderly is through emotional companionship, not just presence. So many are surrounded by people, yet feel invisible. True care means listening to their silences, not just their words. It means remembering that touch, eye contact, and genuine attention can restore something medicine never could. The feeling of being alive, valued, needed. The third is purposeful dignity. Care must not become a checklist. Rituals of respect, small things like asking instead of commanding, sharing instead of doing for, create spaces where elders feel seen, not managed. A chair near a window, a room with their favorite music, a moment of shared silence. These are not luxuries, they are lifelines. We must restore reverence where the world has grown mechanical. To care for the elderly is to care for our future selves. One day, we will sit where they sit. We will hope someone remembers our name, not just our chart. So let us begin now, building a world that does not discard age, but kneels before it with gratitude. Let us not just extend life, but fill it with meaning, even to the very last breath. Aging is not a decline. It's an ascension into wisdom. It is not the fading of life, but the ripening of it. With every passing year, the soul gathers more understanding, more depth, more quiet strength. We often mistake the slowing of the body for the weakening of the spirit, but in truth, it is in those slower moments that clarity is born. The rush of youth gives way to the richness of reflection. Wrinkles are not lines of loss. They are symbols of lessons learned, of love given, and battles endured. Age strips away the unnecessary and leaves only what is real. Grace, insight, and the kind of calm that only comes from having seen the sun rise and fall over many seasons. To grow older is not to become less. It is to become more fully human. Aging is not a decline. It's an ascension into wisdom. It is the gradual unveiling of truths that only time can teach. In youth, we chase answers. In age, we understand the questions. The body may bend, the hair may silver, but the soul, the soul deepens. It sees with more compassion, speaks with more meaning, and listens with more patience. The world often views aging as a fall from vitality, but that's a shallow lens. And when do you know? Shallow lens. The true ascent is inward. With every year, the heart sheds illusions. The mind softens its judgments. And what remains is a quiet, unwavering knowing. It is not weakness, it is clarity. Not retreat, but elevation. To grow old is to climb toward the summit of human understanding, where noise falls away and what matters finally comes into view. Connection is the first medicine we often forget to give. In a world so focused on prescriptions and procedures, we overlook the healing power of simply being present. The elderly do not always need another pill. They need someone to sit beside them, to look them in the eyes, to ask, "How are you, really?" Loneliness is a quiet illness, often invisible but deeply felt. And yet, connection costs nothing. A hand held, a shared story, a moment of laughter. These are not small things. They are soul-level remedies. Before the charts, before the treatments, before the checklists, let there be warmth. Let there be humanity. Because sometimes the greatest cure is to feel remembered, to feel included, to feel that you still matter. That, more than anything, keeps the spirit alive. Dignity must be preserved, not merely provided. It is not something we hand out like a service. It is something we honor, protect, and uphold with reverence. Too often, in the systems we build for care, the elderly are treated as tasks to manage rather than lives to respect. But dignity is not about clean sheets and scheduled meals. It's about how we speak to them, how we include them, how we recognize their worth, even in silence. It's found in the small gestures. Asking before acting, listening before assuming, respecting their choices even when it's inconvenient. To preserve dignity is to affirm over and over again that their value has never diminished, that even in fragility, they are whole, that aging may change the body, but it does not touch the essence of the person within. There comes a time when the rush of youth must slow, and in that stillness we find those who have carried the weight of decades. They are not lost in time, they are time. They are not to be stored away like forgotten books on a shelf. They are volumes of truth, courage, and quiet endurance. And in a world that worships speed, we must remember that grace often walks slowly. The way we care for the elderly is not a matter of duty. It is a reflection of our soul. Companionship is as healing as any pill. There is a kind of medicine in human presence that no pharmacy can dispense. A shared cup of tea, a walk in the garden, a quiet conversation about nothing at all. These moments carry weight far beyond what we see. The elderly do not simply need caretakers. They need companions. People who see them, not just as patients, but as people. People who will laugh with them, sit in silence with them, remember with them. Companionship is not a luxury, it's a lifeline. It steadies the heart, calms the mind, and reminds the soul that it is not alone. In the absence of it, even the most advanced treatment feels cold. But in its presence, even pain can soften, and the will to live grows stronger. Connection, at its deepest, is the medicine of the soul. Every life deserves a gentle ending, not just a long one. We have become so focused on prolonging life that we often forget to ask what kind of life we are preserving. There is a sacredness in a peaceful farewell, in letting someone leave this world with grace, surrounded by warmth rather than wires, love rather than procedures. A gentle ending honors the journey that came before, the laughter, the heartbreak, the quiet moments no one saw. It is not about giving up. It's about letting go with dignity. To sit beside someone as they near the end, to hold their hand, to speak softly to them, is one of the purest acts of love. Because in the end, what we remember is not how long someone lived, but how deeply they were cared for when they needed it most. Companionship is as healing as any pill. In fact, it often reaches places no medicine can. There is something profoundly restorative about being seen, being heard, being remembered. For the elderly, days can stretch into silence, and loneliness becomes a quiet ache that lingers beneath the surface. But the presence of another, a friend, a loved one, even a kind stranger, can break through that stillness like sunlight through a window. In a conversation, a shared memory, a simple laugh can stir something within, something vital. It says, "You are not forgotten. You still matter." Science may measure health in charts and numbers, but the heart measures it in moments of closeness. And it is in those moments that the spirit heals, slowly, gently, but undeniably. Companionship, then, is not just comfort. It is care in its purest form. Innovation means little if it lacks empathy. Technology, no matter how advanced, can never replace the human touch, the understanding, the kindness, the ability to connect on a deep emotional level. We live in a world where breakthroughs in science and medicine happen at lightning speed. Yet true progress is not just about what we can build, but how we choose to build it. If our innovations are not designed with the needs and feelings of others at their core, they risk becoming cold, impersonal tools rather than life-enhancing solutions. Empathy is the soul of true innovation. It's the force that drives us to create, not just for efficiency, but for human connection. Without it, even the most groundbreaking technology can become nothing more than a distant and sterile presence. But when innovation is paired with empathy, it has the power to transform lives, to bridge gaps, to make the world a more compassionate place for everyone, especially the elderly who need it most. Honor the past by respecting those who lived it. The history we read in books is not just words on pages. It is the lived experience of those who walked before us. And those who have grown old hold the stories, the lessons, and the struggles of times we can only imagine. To honor the past is not just to remember it. It is to look into the eyes of those who lived through it and recognize the wisdom etched into their every wrinkle. These individuals are not relics. They are the living testaments to resilience, perseverance, and change. We must approach them not as something to be cared for, but as people who have shaped the very world we now occupy. Their voices deserve to be heard, their experiences valued, and their memories cherished. By showing them respect, we honor the past and ensure that its lessons continue to guide us. The respect we give today becomes the legacy we leave tomorrow. The way we treat our elders reveals the future we're creating. In every act of kindness or indifference, in every gesture of respect or neglect, we shape the society that will follow. The elderly are not simply the remnants of the past. They are the architects of tomorrow's values, for they carry with them the wisdom and experiences that define our shared humanity. If we honor them, nurture them, and listen to them, we are building a world that values compassion, empathy. But if we dismiss them, if we overlook their needs, or ignore their voices, we are sowing the seeds of a future where respect is fleeting, and our connections with one another become fragile. The treatment of our elders is a reflection of our collective heart. It tells us what we stand for, and more importantly, what we are becoming. The way we treat them today is the legacy we will pass on to future generations.